Hey folks, welcome to another video of Matro's Travel. I'm Matro and today I'm in Mosul, and you can already see I'm in one of the parts that got destructed the most. The name, I think it's Azersjkhan, something like this. It's written below. I'm sorry, I can't really pronounce it. And this part here is the old town. The old town is even so old, it dates back to the Assyrian times. So they settled down here like right beside the Tigris River. You can see the river also down here. But there isn't much left of it. It has been struck by the war really heavily, and it's not easy to walk through here at all. And you might be wondering, just by seeing actually this video here, if it's ethical to actually go and visit Mosul. And to that, I need to say the city itself is actually promoting itself to the tourism sector. There's even a heritage house, which I'm going to show you in a bit. And last year they gave free accommodation to international tourists. They really try to get people back to visit the city. So the city itself actually says, please come back, please visit us. And I hope this is answering your question. And still going here is, I mean, you see those things, the wars, everything in the TV, you see the destruction and so on. But being here and actually seeing it yourself, how like houses that are owned by generations are just crumbled to rubble. It's devastating, really just devastating. And here you can also just walk on certain pavements. You can't walk everywhere because there's still bombs lying around in many parts. There are also a lot of warning signs, how the bombs look like, where they can be, and what to do if you see a bomb. So yeah, not even sure what to say about this. But still, I'm exploring the city here and I meet the people, and I'm really surprised about how nice and positive the people are about the future. They're really trying everything to rebuild the city, and it's something really great to see as well. And let's dive further in it. So one of the really interesting places here that date back from the Ottoman Empire is the Bashtabya fort. It's actually right behind me. So nowadays it's in ruins and there's a military post there. It's a little bit difficult to get there, but if you're really nice and friendly, they usually let you in. You have to work a little bit on it to get in. But for sure you will manage it. And I had to be very quick with the videos because I was only allowed to stay there for like 5 minutes. But you can see the fort. Well, there's not much to see anymore. But from the ruins, I have a beautiful view above Mosul, and you can even see like the Grand Mosque in Mosul, which is really beautiful. The riverbanks of the Tigris and everything. It's a really nice view. And also there's a sulfur spring down there. You can already smell it. It smells like a little bit like rotten eggs. It's because of the spring. It's on the bottom of the fortress. And a lot of people go there to take the water to treat certain illness, especially with the skin, like neurodermitis and psoriasis and this kind of stuff. It's quite an interesting fact, actually. So from the fortress, on the way there and back, you can already see one of the examples of how Mosul actually rebuilt. Here's the Imam Mohsin Mosque, which is already being rebuilt. You can see the central tower was the only thing that survived, and everything else got destroyed and rebuilt. So this is certainly a good example of how Mosul is slowly rebuilding itself. And on the opposite side of the mosque, you can see the St. Mary Church here. So this one has also been partly destroyed and is currently under construction. So soon this will also be rebuilt. So, and right behind me there's the Mosul Heritage Center. Actually, you can see the Bashtabya fort right there. And from there you can just walk down here to the Heritage Center. And this is actually a really cool place. You can see the architectural style is really nice. It's really original from how the houses look like. And here they host cultural events. They do tours for tourists and for students. They do cleanups and all this kind of stuff. They do everything also to preserve the culture of Mosul. So this is like a really interesting place to actually learn a bit more about the city. So also this heritage house, it was built in 1996. So they don't really consider it as a heritage house because it's quite newish. It survived the war quite well, like the outside was a little bit destroyed, but not too much. And inside there, they also have a museum you can visit there, and you can go up there as well for a viewpoint. And the building was built in a way to show how like the old houses actually look like. So even though it's not original, but it still shows how the original actually looked like. So it's really worth actually going here and checking it out. And you can ask them anything, they can give you all the information you need about Mosul. So going further south from the heritage house, you can see the Al-Nuri Mosque, which is right behind me. So this mosque is currently rebuilt with the help of UNESCO. And it got world famous for the video footage of the terrorists actually being here and declaring that they seized Mosul. And well, there's not much left of it anymore, but they are doing the best they can to reconstruct it. Another point that should be mentioned is the minaret, which is here. This minaret, it was very famous as being the, I'm gonna say, the leaning tower of Pisa in Iraq, because it was leaning, I think, like 2.5 meters to the vertical. So this was like really something kind of obscure, kind of special in a way. The Muslims say it was leaning because this is where Muhammad ascended to heaven. It was leaning out of respect. Christians say it was leaning towards Erbil, kind of way. Yeah. So there are different theories. Scientifically, they say it was leaning because of underground water and was just a bit heavy, so it started leaning. So there are different theories about it. But unfortunately, it has been bombed and destroyed. But they also want to reconstruct the minaret as well. In the way it was leaning, they have all the construction manuals and everything from the past still. So they should be able to do it. And honestly, I can't wait to see how it's going to look like when it's actually finished. So on the other side, right behind the mosque, there's the Bytna Cultural Center. It's just a very small street, but I definitely should mention it here because even the French President Macron visited it. It's a small Bytna museum. Yeah, there's a coffee above and they show some old artifacts from ancient Mosul. There's a restaurant, a souvenir shop and everything there as well. It's a really nice area to go and also one of the better places for when you want to have dinner in Mosul. And I'm back in my hotel room. So for the next things, I'm gonna do it here because I wasn't really allowed filming there. And the street was really noisy and so on, so it wasn't a good location, so I will continue in my room, but I took videos, don't worry. So on the east side of Mosul, this side is not as destroyed as the west part, where you see mostly just rubble of most of the buildings. But on the east side, you still see a lot of the buildings, the original buildings and so on, so it hasn't been as affected as the west side, which is also good to see. And there you have the Nabi Yunus, I hope I say it right. It's the resting place of Prophet Jonas. So Prophet Jonas is mentioned in the Bible and in the Quran. And to make it short, he was sent by God to warn Nineveh, the inhabitants of Nineveh, to change their behavior, to find back to God, otherwise the city will be destroyed. But he didn't want to go there and instead went the opposite direction and took a boat, and he got into a storm and swallowed up by a fish. And he actually survived that, and while he was inside the fish, he had a lot of time to think about his behavior, and in the end he went to Nineveh and warned them, and they actually changed their behavior, and he sort of rescued them with this. So that's like the basic story mentioned in the Bible. I think it's similar to what's written in the Quran. And this is why this place is so significant for Christians and Muslims. So unfortunately, when the IS came, they destroyed the mosque as well. They just blew it up. Interestingly, because of that, they found new tunnels from the Assyrian time. And it's not proven, but there's a theory that in those tunnels there were a lot of treasures, and they sold those treasures to actually finance themselves. But it's all conspiracy, so it's not really sure if this is true or not. But I was allowed to go there. It was a little bit difficult because you need permits and everything, and I couldn't speak Arabic, and yeah, they didn't want to go me at first, but then they allowed me to go there, but I wasn't allowed to take any photos or videos. But there were a few guys who went with me who showed me the place, and they actually took photos and videos. Not of the mosque itself, but there's a photo of me on the viewpoint with one of the guys, which you can see here. And there's a video of me just walking around on the street towards the mosque, stumbling over some rubble. Why did he take this video? So yeah, this video exists. So that's all I have from there, unfortunately. But still, it's a really interesting place to see. They're currently rebuilding the mosque, so you can see how they're actually rebuilding it. And I think it was completely illegal what they did, but they showed me the tunnels. So we went down the tunnels into them. It was a little bit like a maze even, like fortunately they knew where they were going because I got lost. And it was very dangerous to go there because there were stones falling down. There was a lot of a lot of dust and everything. I even hit my head at some point. And because I wasn't allowed to take out my mobile, I couldn't use the flashlight. So I had to walk in the dark. One of the guys took his mobile to put some light on for me, but it wasn't enough. So really, like, yeah, as I said, I hit my head and I stumbled over some stones there and so on. But it was interesting to actually see those ancient tunnels there. So that was really quite something. But I'm not sure if you go there, if they let you in. Like, as I said, it took me some time to actually convince them that they will show it to me. So yeah, but still, you can try it. Maybe they're gonna show it to you. Maybe try to get a permit first, because they told me I actually need a permit. I'm not sure where to get it also on. I didn't really understand it. So maybe you can do some research if you really want to see the place. Yeah. And from there, actually, you can walk. It's take like 15 to 20 minutes. Just walk further to the east and you can see the ancient wall of Nineveh, which has been restored, and also the gate. The gate that got restored got blown up by the ISIS again. So there's nothing to see anymore, but you can still see the restored outer walls of Nineveh. So Nineveh was its own town in the past, and Mosul as well, but if I understand it correct, Mosul just grew larger, and at some point it went to Nineveh, and Nineveh is now just a suburb of Mosul, so it's just part of Mosul now. There's also the ancient site of Nineveh as well, the archaeological site, but you can't really visit it at all. I tried, but it didn't let me. So yeah, for now, forget it, you can't really see it, but at least you can see the walls, so that's something. And as a last thing, they are also still building the Grand Mosque of Mosul. It was called the Saddam Mosque in honor of Saddam Hussein, but I mean, you can't really call this anymore, so now they're calling it the Grand Mosque. It hasn't been finished when the war with ISIS started, but during the war the construction site got damaged, but now they're continuing construction again, and you can see it here on the videos how big and huge this mosque actually is, and honestly I can't wait to see how it looks like when it's finished. So this is it for the video. So I hope I was able to show you how Mosul is currently doing after the war. You can still see all the destruction, but it's also nice to see how they are trying to rebuild everything. It's great to see the people with their spirits lifted up and everything. And as I said, they're trying everything to promote tourism in the city, and there's still a lot to see here, and I can't wait to see how it's gonna look like when they restored most of the parts. So maybe in 5 years or something I will come back to see how it looks like, and yeah, can't wait to make a video of that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, hit the like button down below. Remember to subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye.